Hi, thank you for tuning in to the Softball Saskatchewan Online Fundamental Clinic. This is part 3 of 5. My name is Brendan Moat, and I will be facilitating interference, obstruction, and the pitching role. Interference. Question 1, the rulebook definition for interference. I will read that to you now. It is in the Softball Canada rulebook 5.1.30 on page 155. Rulebook definition for interference is the act of an offensive player or team member who impedes, hinders, or confuses a defensive player attempting to execute a play. The act of an umpire who impedes a catcher's attempt to throw out a runner who is off the base, or the act of an umpire or runner being hit with a fair batted ball, 1, prior to touching a fielder, including the pitcher, 2, prior to it passing an infielder other than the pitcher without being touched, or 3, after passing a fielder excluding the pitcher and in the umpire's judgment, another fielder had a chance to make an out, or the act of a spectator who enters or reaches into the playing field and impedes a fielder playing the ball or makes contact with the ball that a fielder is attempting a play on. Question 2, caused by whom, was just answered in the definition. It can be caused by the offense, an umpire, or a spectator reaching into the playing field. Interference, all of the following may occur. Dead ball or a delayed ball situation. You may have 1 out, or you may have additional outs. You may have runners return to bases, or you may have a ward of bases. The following will be some examples of some types of interference. Batter or batter-runner interference would be the plate umpire's call in this situation, the batter interfering with the catcher or any play at the plate. The batter-runner, when the defensive player is in position, the batter-runner must be outside the chute. Note which side of the safe base is in play. This will be a scenario where you will get to make a decision on whether or not the umpire made the correct call or did not make the correct call.
So where does the ball go? To the outside part of the plate. The throw hit Arneson. And so they're calling Arneson out of the box. If you're in the batter's box and the ball hits off the batter, it's a live ball. Their umpire's judgment, Arneson was out of the box, which would be the 3rd out of the inning. It's called runner interference. Excuse me, batter interference. Jessica Allister still having a conversation about it. Now we'll get a better look here, and you can see she's backing out of the box. Does have 1 foot very close to the box, and then our umpire's judgment more out of the box than not. You can see a bellow pleading her case. So it's a check swing. It's a called ball. She's backing out of the box. Has half a foot in the box. Judgment call there by the umpire, but if Arneson is deemed out of the box, the ball hits her, that is batter interference. Leah Bowen is the home plate umpire. That ends the Minnesota charge.
Okay, so in this situation, what type of interference is this? That would be interference on the batter, and Do you think the penalty was enforced correctly by the umpire? Yes, yes, it was enforced correctly by the umpire. The batter did indeed interfere, and therefore the batter would be the one that was at liability to be put out as a result of the interference. Okay, another scenario.
For the Hawks, up next is Stoltz, top of the lineup. Now this is where you want to get your out. Look at two here. They get one and they hit the runner with the ball, and now it's going to allow Ziak to get to second base. Anzalone is out.
Yeah, they're going to say she's got to get out of the way because she just ran right into the throw. You look at this right here. This is a great angle right here. She goes into second base. She just runs right into it. So she should be out. Should be out.
And Coach Talon out to talk to the official.
And there was no attempt to slide whatsoever. It's not like it was a half attempt and she got down on the slide late. There was no attempt there at all to slide. No attempt to slide.
And they're going to have a discussion here. Right now, as it stands, Anzalone is out at second.
And that's pretty clear cut too.
Yeah, and now Seahawk standing at third, and that's just the way it's going to be.
Wow. Wow. I mean, that's when you have to think that maybe the umpires can get together and talk about it.
Take another look at this. Ball hit right to short. And go to second base for the sure out. That's obviously the out, but now here's the interference. The runner makes absolutely no attempt to get out of the way of the throw.
So in this situation right here, the umpires certainly did not get the correct call, as the batter runner ended up, excuse me, on third base, and it should have been the out that they already had on the base runner, and then after the interference occurred, then you would have had an additional out, which would have been the batter runner at that point. So instead, the umpires did not get the correct call, and they ended up with one out, and the batter runner ended up on third base. So what type of interference is this? This would be, if it was called correctly, this would be an interference on the base runner. And you would have the out on the force play, and then you would enforce the out for the actual interference would be on the batter runner. So interference by a runner who is one, not yet out, then the runner is out. Two, not yet out, but an obvious double play, the runner and the succeeding runner are out. And if by a runner, if they are already out, then you are going to take the next out from the runner who is nearest home. So in this situation, there was only one other runner, so that should have been the runner that ended up on third base, which was the batter runner. So for a plate umpire interference, you would have a delayed dead ball. If the runner is thrown out, then you act like the interference basically never happened. But if they did not get the out, it is a dead ball, and the runners will go back to the previous base. Obstruction. Once again, if you look in your rule book under 5.1.32, you will find obstruction. It is also on page 155. Okay, so question 1, the rule book definition for obstruction is the act of a defensive player or team member who hinders or prevents a batter from striking at or hitting a pitched ball. The act of a fielder who impedes the progress of a batter runner or runner who is legally running bases while 1, not in possession of the ball, 2, not in the act of fielding a batted ball, 3, making a fake tag without the ball, 4, in possession of the ball and who pushes a runner off a base, or in possession of the ball but not in the act of making a play on the batter runner or runner. Okay, so caused by whom? There was a few examples there. Okay, so no play when the defense is blocking a base during rundowns. Catcher obstruction, that is an option play, and fake tag would be an example of obstruction. Okay, the actions for obstruction is a delayed dead ball. The ball is live. The obstructed runner may advance further at their own risk. When obstructed runner is called out or the play ends, you will call time and possibly award a base, or possibly place other runners. Obstruction can mean a few different things for base runners. Okay, I've got the difference between interference and obstruction because they are similar. Interference, this is going to go over what we just went over a little bit, but I think it's helpful. The difference between interference and obstruction. Interference is typically an act by an offensive player. Also possible to have umpire interference and spectator interference. Results in dead ball being called, with the exception being the umpire interference, in which you may take the result of the play if you get the out. Results in an out by an offensive player. And the common misconception is that that there is catcher's interference when that is actually catcher's obstruction. Obstruction is an act by a defensive player. It results in a delayed dead ball. There is an award is determined at the end of the play, the exception if the obstructed runner is called out. An obstruction call does not entitle the obstructed runner to keep attempting to advance until played upon. So what that means is once the obstructed player achieves the next base in which they may have been obstructed to, anything beyond that, they are in liability to be put out. Obstruction does not give them free rein of running around the bases. These two rules require an immediate call when either interference or obstruction occurs. Do not hesitate. These are not the type of calls to be made after the fact. It has to be a decisive call. Contact does not always mean interference or obstruction occur. There is such a thing as incidental contact, two players both unsure of where to go and contact is made. Here's a scenario. The batter hits a pitch ball on the ground out in front of home plate. The batter runner runs in fair territory and toward the 3-foot line. Before the batter runner reaches the 3-foot path, the first 30 feet from home plate, the catcher's throw towards first hits the batter runner in the back. What's your call? The ruling: if a batter runner is hit with a thrown ball before the 3-foot path, the batter runner is not out. It does not matter whether the batter runner is in foul or fair territory as long as the batter did not intentionally interfere with the thrown ball. The batter hits a pitched ball on the ground towards third. The third baseman fields the ball and throws it towards first. The first baseman has to come off the base and toward home in an effort to make the catch. The first baseman and the batter runner collide in A, fair territory, or B, foul territory inside the 3-foot path. What's your call? The ruling in A, the ball is dead ball. The batter runner is out for interference. The throw being off target has no consequence. The defensive player must be given a chance to make the catch. When the infielder is denied that opportunity due to the batter runner being out of the 3-foot path, you have interference. If it's B, and so if it's foul territory, this is a simple collision or incidental contact. No obstruction and no interference, and the ball remains live. Okay, that was it for interference and obstruction. Once again, you will find that on page 155. Interference is 5.1.30, and obstruction is 5.1.32. Okay, so we are going to look at pitching now. So the pitching has changed several times over the past few seasons. The current slides that I have do not represent the current age groups, so I will let you know if I come to a slide that has some misinformation on it so that you're not questioning what you're seeing. Okay. What are the steps a pitcher must do to throw a legal pitch? Okay, so we're going to be talking about the hands, the feet, and the body primarily. Okay, I'm going to switch over to this slide here. It's a little bit more interactive, I find. Okay, so for pitching, your stance, the pivot foot must be in contact with the pitcher's plate and both feet within the length of the pitcher's plate. Okay, when the pitcher is taking a signal, okay, step one, the pitcher and catcher must be in position. Okay, the pitcher must be on the pitching plate. Now, step three, I am going to disagree with here, and I'm going to tell you that it says the ball must be held in both hands for the signal. That is incorrect, and you will find that in the rule book that the hands should be separated. And then after the signal is taken, that is when the hands come together. And when the hands come together, that is the indication that the next thing you will and have to see is a pause. The pause. Facing the batter, the hips in line with first to third. The ball with the hand is in the hands together. The hands have no movement. So when they come with the pause with the hands should not be moving anymore. The whole body must stop, and you must enforce the 2 to 5 second pause. The wind up. It starts when one hand comes off of the ball after the pause. Any motion after the pause, or a step. Only one step is allowed, and you do not need to drag your foot anymore from any age group. The age groups have changed. They are now U11, U13, U15, U17. The pitching is now universal, right from U11 and U13 all the way up, 1 foot on, and there is no need to drag your foot anymore. The pitching right from U11 is being taught the same way all the way up to the adults now. The delivery. The motion is an underhand motion, less than twice past the hip. The release is forward past the straight line of the body. The hand is to be below the hip. The wrist should not be farther from the body than the elbow. Windmill, slingshot pitch, and complete revolution are not allowed. Pitcher may not make any motion to pitch without immediately delivering the ball to the batter. Violation of a pitching rule constitutes an illegal pitch. Pull out left arm and vocalize illegal pitch. This is a delayed dead ball. If the illegal pitch is not hit, A, a ball is awarded to the batter, first base if ball 4. B, runners are advanced 1 base. If the illegal pitch is hit, the manager has the option of taking A, the award of the illegal pitch, or B, the result of the play. And that concludes the interference, obstruction, and pitching rule for the online clinic for the fundamental aspect of softball Saskatchewan's online learning clinics. Thank you.